Okay, this is part 3, Unit 12C, and we're looking at apportionment, and we've been talking about the Hamilton method and the Alabama paradox. And we just did this question here, dealing with states A, B, and C, where we had 100 seats, or 100 representatives to fill and allocate over these 3 states. And now we're going to increase that number to 101 and determine if the Alabama paradox occurs. So here are the final apportionments there. It was 25, 12, and 63. So now we're going to go through, but this time we're going to have 101 representatives. So again, we have our 2540 for the first state. We had 1140 for the second state. We had 6330 for the third state. When you add all those populations together, it's 10,010. So now for the standard divisor that we're going to use to find the standard quotas, you take 10,010 and divide it now by 101, and this comes out to be about 99.11. So the standard quota for A, you're going to take 2,540 divided by 99.11, and this will give you about 25.62. Oops, 25.62. Then you take 1140 divided by the standard divisor 99.11. You get a standard quota of 11.5. And then same thing, 6330 divided by 99.11, you get 63.87. Those standard quotas should add up to 101. The total number of seats. Now the minimum quota, again, we just drop off the decimal part, so we get 25 is the minimum for A, 11 is the minimum for B, 63 is the minimum for C. When you add all those up, that gives us 99. So we have 2 that remain, because now again, remember in this example we have 101 seats to fill. So the fractional remainder for the first one was 0.62. For the second one, it was 0.5. For the third, it was 0.87. So the two biggest, the first biggest is 0.87, then the second biggest is 0.62. So this one would be 25 plus 1 seats, so 26 seats here. This one stays at 11 for state B. State C would get 63 plus 1 more, or 64. And that would add up to our 101 seats. Now notice that state B, when we had 100 seats, had 12, and now it's down to 11. So we saw an increase for states A and B. Those increased to 26 and 64 respectively. But A and C, but state B actually lost. Even though the populations remained the same, we added in 1 seat, and state B was lost 1 seat. So this is an example of the Alabama paradox, where we keep those populations the same, we add an additional seat, and Alabama, or not Alabama, but state B in this case actually loses representation just because we added 1 more seat. So that's the end of Unit 12C and looking at apportionments. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. There are definitely different other ways than the Alabama paradox or the Hamilton method, the Alabama paradox, but we're only going to cover one in this just to give you an idea as to what's out there and how they try and divide these things out. So appreciate your time.